Hi, I'm Christina, CEO of Fictionary.
Capturing the reader at the beginning of each scene and making them want to start the following scene could just lead you to writing a best-selling novel. So let's talk about how to do this. Drawing readers into and out of each scene is what I call the scene flow. Today we're going to cover what the top 3 story elements are for scene flow. What are the building blocks? We'll talk a little bit about technology, and then I'm going to give you the top 3 pacing issues that I see as an editor. The best way to capture a reader at the beginning of each scene and make them want to start the following scene is to anchor them in every scene, to have an enticing entry hook, an enticing exit hook. So let's talk about how to get this done. So what does it mean to anchor a scene? The reader needs to know who has the point of view, where is the character, and what is the timing of the scene. So for the point of view, the reader should know who has the point of view within the first paragraph, or at least within the first few paragraphs. If not, they might find it frustrating. You know where your character is because you wrote the scene, but does your reader? If the reader can't figure out where a character is within the first few paragraphs, you may lose them. The reader, I mean, and not the character. And for timing, if several years or several seconds have passed in a character's life, the reader needs to know that too. So for every scene, check that your reader knows who the point of view character is, where the scene is taking place, and what is the timing of that scene. How many times have you almost nodded off while reading a book, only to catch the first few lines of the next scene and then decided to keep reading? That probably happened because there was a great scene entry hook. I've got options for scene entry hooks. You can consider starting your scene in media res, meaning just open it in the middle of the action. You can foreshadow trouble, use a strong line of dialogue, raise a question, but it's also key, don't waste words at the beginning of a scene on extraneous description. You want to catch your reader as fast as possible for every scene. At the end of the scene, leave the reader wanting more, and they'll start the next chapter. A reader should never be left at the end of a scene feeling too satisfied. Different options you have for exit hooks are a dramatic cliffhanger, a setback for the protagonist or the antagonist, an unexpected plot twist, an unanswered question, a secret revealed. There are other options, but the key is don't use any one of these too often. You want to use all of the options to make each scene interesting at the end. So let's look at a quick example within Fictionary. You can see here that I've marked that this scene is anchored in the point of view. So by the second paragraph, we know that Jazz is the point of view character for the scene. The scene setting I've marked as yes because we know that by the third paragraph we're at a funeral. What we don't know is the scene timing yet of the scene, so there needs to be a little bit of a rewrite. The entry hook is whose funeral are we at? And the exit hook is Jazz bolting the funeral, so why did she bolt? You can see if you work through every scene in your novel and focus on whether your scene is anchored, whether it has an entry hook or an exit hook, you'll get the flow of your novel right. So these 3 elements can cause pacing issues within your story. If your reader has to stop to see who has the point of view, where is the scene, or what's the timing of the scene, it's going to slow them down. If there's no entry or exit hook, the story itself will feel slow. So either way, the pacing of your story might be too slow if you don't keep track of all 3 elements. Fictionary online software gives you a structured method to evaluate scene anchoring, your entry hooks, and your exit hooks for every scene.
Sign up for your free trial and become a successful author.